What's up guys, my name is Will, and in this video I want to give you some tips about the new Chaos mode to make it easier for you to get as much data as possible and with this boy get the best build as possible. And if you want to know more about Chaos Your Nightmare, don't forget to leave your like and subscribe for more content. So the first tip I want to give you, if you don't have yet strong characters that can do all the stages and they are not maximized, the best way is to lower the level. So you have all of these levels and they already unlocked the next 3. So imagine that you can't do the stage 8 yet. What you can do to get the best save data as possible, or imagine, let's pick a different example. Imagine that you can do 7, alright? But you're struggling a little bit to do it on Nightmare mode. And as you guys can see, this is a tier 11. And if you guys don't know, the tier will cap the amount of cards you can get and epiphanies and all of that, but I'll talk about that later. So the best way to get the save data, as you know, with the Nightmare mode, you get more epiphanies, and with this, a better build. So what you can do is, instead of doing 7 on normal mode, which is a tier 11, you go to stage below, the stage below, which is a 10, and in this case, it will be, if you do on Nightmare mode, will be a 10 tier. But on this one from 6 to 7 is a difference of 2 tiers. But for example, this one, you can do the same thing. So instead of doing this on normal mode, you can do the other one below, but do it on Nightmare mode. So you're gonna do a higher tier, will be 1 above, but will give you much more stuff, because with this mode, you get more epiphanies, more cards, more chances to get divine epiphanies and all of that. This is the first tip I have to you. The second tip is picking the characters that are stronger against the elements you are fighting against. And this case will be Void. All the enemies you're gonna find on this chaos will be Void, especially the bosses. The bosses will be Void all the time, but you can find Void or Passion, which is the same element as you guys have seen here, the Lucas. So you can pick the best characters you have with Passion or Void, and this way they will do more damage and they will do more tenacity. If you don't know, tenacity is the bar below the HP bar, and if you have the same element, the enemies will be weakened, so you're gonna take more of that bar every time you do damage. You're also doing more damage, and if that bar is depleted, you get more one action point, making it easier for you. This is my second tip. Third tip, while you're progressing on these stages and doing your chaos, prioritize always gear, okay? Because every time you get gear, for example, if you get chest, you got more defense. If you get a third item, you get more HP. If you get the first item, you get more attack. So if you prioritize that gear, you get stronger faster and will be easier if you find an enemy that is stronger, especially when you find that big bad wolf. It does insane damage. So if you already have your characters equipped, even if it's blue gear, it's better than nothing. It's giving you more defense, more HP, more attack, and will make it easier, and eventually try to upgrade to yellow gear, okay? And if you can, even mythic gear, that will help you a lot, especially if it's a good equipment for your character. So the first thing will be gear. And sometimes you will need to decide between credit and gear. Check the gear. If the gear is not that good, and if you think you can get the same gear or better for the same value of credits you are getting from that event, then go for the credit. But keep in mind, usually the options are between gear and credits, and the most they will give it to you will be around 100 credits. And if you go to the store, you'll notice that the blue gear is around 80 credits. So between 80 and 100, I mean, you can get already a piece of gear, and with this upgrade already your characters. And if you pick the credit, you'll need to find the store to get some items for you. So my tip is really getting the gear first and credits after. If you already have all your characters equipped with one of those types of gear from that event, then go for the credits. Of course, this will be optional. And always do the best thing at the stage you are progressing on chaos. Then the fourth tip is about safe zones. Don't be greedy. If your characters are very low HP, don't try to fight again another enemies. Try to skip it, try to go to a safe zone, recover HP, because the most important thing will be always fighting the boss and reach the end game boss, because if you don't, then you are losing all your progress, and also you are not getting the copy and sometimes good epiphanies and the credits and all of that. So will be always better to recover your HP on the safe zone and then do all your fights. And now going back to the tiers, as I was saying, there's a cap on these tiers, and I have a calculator to show you easier how this works. So there's this calculator, I'm gonna leave the link below, and with this you can see how much is the cap. So every character, depending on the tier, will have a limit. So if you go here, for example, we are doing 12, okay, so 12, which is a nightmare of 11, and then 13, as you guys can see, there's a limit cap, and this limit will be according how much epiphanies you are getting. As you guys can see here, neutral cards, monster cards, neutral epiphanies, divine epiphanies, all of these as a cost or amount of data. And this cap, as you guys can see, for example, let's go to 11, for example, is 130. And depending on which card you are getting for that character, will have a value. For example, monster cards are 80, and I know some of them are pretty good, but especially if you are doing lower stages, imagine you are doing 7, okay, so we are already reaching your limit, and then this will be the reason why you're not getting all the cards when you finish that chaos, alright? So going back to 11, so monster cards, unless you really need it, will be a bit tricky because they are very expensive. Then if you're going for a neutral epiphany, it's just 10. But if you're going for a divine, will be 20, okay? Keep this in mind, will be 20. And the forbidden cards will be 20 as well, converted cards 10. So keep all of this in mind, alright? If you get the neutral cards, will be 20 each. Neutral epiphanies, 10 for each. So getting neutral cards will be 20 more. So you need to play around this. So it's always good to use this calculator. And if you are prioritizing one of the characters, keep this in mind, because if you are getting too much cards by the end of that mode, that's when you finish the last boss, you may be not getting everything that you gathered during that stage, okay? And it's because of this. It's because you are going above the limit cap. The higher the tier, higher the cap, but you always need to play around this. You can just pick all the cards, there's a limit for this. And then, as you guys know, they did these upgrades, so now every time you do the chaos, you can go to your chaos 0 and do the upgrades and make it easier. So if you guys go now to the chaos 0, the 0 system, it drops these chaos orbs, and you can literally go here and upgrade all of these, and will make it easier. Alright guys, so this was all the tips. I hope these tips help you progressing and doing and getting more safe data. I know maybe for some of you, you are not able to do the higher stages yet, but you still want to grab some good save data so you can do all the other modes, because you need that save data to do all the content from the chaos, alright? You can't use the save data you had previously. If you want to do Nebula Distortion or the challenge missions, you need to use the data from here. So using these tips will make it easier for you to grab that save data so you can complete all of these challenge missions, Nebula Distortion, and gather more free resources. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, don't forget, leave your like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.